Welcome back to Sunday Square Off. The Red for Ed movement led a historic strike by Arizona teachers last April that won large pay raises from Governor Doug Ducey and the legislature. So, what's the next step for Red for Ed? Joining us, one of Red for Ed's lead organizers and the person most associated with the movement, at least in the public eye, Noah Karvelis.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to Square Off. Let's catch up on what you're doing right now. So when you were last on Square Off about a year ago, you were teaching music at an Avondale Elementary School. Still there?
Yep, Littleton Elementary School District. I do kindergarten through 8th grade music. Still there, yeah.
Did you get any blowback from your Red for Ed involvement at the school?
No, I really haven't had any sort of blowback. I'm fortunate to have a supportive administration, and yeah, really happy at Littleton.
So as you probably know right now at the legislature, a few lawmakers want to take steps to limit teachers' political involvement, political speech.
Right.
What's your response to them?
Well, my response is that it's frustrating that that's the first step, that's the first thing that's being talked about. I mean, we're missing about $700 million from our schools still. So to come out first and that's the first thing that they want to talk about is disappointing. We have a severe budget crisis.
So many teachers got 10% raises last year, largely thanks to the strike that forced the governor to act. There's a pledge of another 10% over the next 2 years. So how do you keep teachers and parents as engaged as they were last spring during the Red for Ed strike? How do you duplicate that this year if you really need to?
Yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're doing a lot of work making sure that we're expanding our leadership. For example, we're bringing in people who represent new different cross-sections of the population, high school teachers, more people who work in rural areas, and really bring in and make this another statewide movement and make sure that people understand the situation that we're facing as well. And so we have each and every corner of the state working on this movement so that we can bring this money back to our schools.
How concerned, though, are you of a fall-off, the energy just not being there the way it was a year ago when there was just this pent-up explosion of energy?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. As an organizer, we're concerned that maybe that energy isn't there, but what we have right now is this core of very dedicated people who have really risen up and become education activists, and they're all across the state. We still have our site liaison network, which, if you remember, is basically teachers who double as organizers in their schools, and they're still there. So we have this core that's really moving things forward, and I think as things progress, we're only going to see that grow, and it might look similar to what it looked like last spring in terms of energy.
And as you talk about expanding like that, it makes me wonder, what exactly is Red for Ed's mission? Because there's an Arizona Education Association, the union, which represents about 20,000 or more. They bargain, they have dues, they're a traditional union. You seem to be moving in that direction. So what's the difference here?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest differences is the people who work at AEA, a lot of them are staff, and then we have the elected officials who are teachers. But this is teachers who are in the classroom right now talking about their issues, and we bring in people who, it doesn't matter if you can afford the dues or not. It doesn't matter if you are Republican or Democrat. We will work with anybody. As long as you're a teacher or a parent and you want to work with us, you're welcome to come support us. And we also work with the union very closely still. And that gives us, I think, a really powerful dynamic in Arizona where it's not just a union movement, but it's this grassroots teachers community-led movement, and that's a powerful partnership.
And how likely is it that we'll see job actions or even a strike this year in response to maybe not getting what you're seeking?
Well, what I'm hoping right now is that we're going to come to a bipartisan table and get these solutions hammered out. I mean, I think there's political willpower there, so I hope that we come to a table and get this resolved quickly, get a plan together to get that money back in the budget. If that doesn't happen, though, we'll continue to advocate. We'll do any means necessary to make sure that
Does any means include a strike?
I wouldn't take any options off the table. I'd say the same thing I said last year. You know, it's hard to predict what will happen, but I mean, we're throwing away kids' futures here, and that's serious. That's serious to anybody, especially teachers.
Noah Karvelis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
When we come back, my exit interview with former Senator Jeff Flake. Stay with us.